Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Shop Stopping. You may have noticed that I didn't make an episode last week. Well, that just has to do with the fact that I am a student. I've got other commitments that are actually more important than making weekly YouTube videos, oddly enough. So I skipped out last week, didn't bother trying to make something in time. Sorry about that. But on top of that, I didn't really have anything that I was super interested in that I wanted to really look at or talk about in a video. So that didn't help either, and I wasn't going to force it. But when I went into the shop on Saturday, leaning up against the wall was something that did catch my eye, and that is what I'm featuring this week. Well, it turns out that, like the title implies, is the 2016 Raleigh Redux 2. Now, I love everything about this bike. This thing, like I said, looks like a big BMX. It's got 650B wheels with giant tires and all kinds of room for even bigger tires, disc brakes, and a super simple 1x9 drivetrain. I mean, commuting on it would be an absolute blast. You'd be hopping curbs, doing all kinds of stuff that you just, would not typically do with maybe your drop bar commuter. But I really love the direction that this bike, and really Raleigh as a whole, is going. Alright, so the frame on the Redux 2 is full double-butted 6061 aluminum, which in my opinion is the perfect way to go for a bike that you're probably going to do a lot of stupid things with. Another part that I do like about it is they do use an alloy fork. I originally thought it was carbon, but after looking it up, noticed that it is SPF aluminum with an aluminum steer and everything. So when you are crashing and doing a lot of dumb things with this bike like you should be, then you don't really have to worry about cracking or destroying by ripping apart any carbon parts. At first I didn't really like the idea of no carbon on this bike, but I think it makes total sense because the whole idea behind it is to make stupid decisions on your commute or in general riding a bike in a really reckless way. The drivetrain spec'd on this Redux is actually super cool. It's a mix of Alivio 9-speed with some just unbranded stuff to keep costs down, which makes sense because this bike, like I said, super reckless for riding and seems like it'd be a really good time. And if you wanted to make any sort of drivetrain upgrades, you wouldn't feel bad about throwing out some of the stuff that's on it. It's just an unbranded 3-piece aluminum crank with a 42-tooth chainring and a Shimano Alivio 9-speed derailleur with a 9-speed Shimano cassette, that is 11 through 34. That gear ratio should deal with just about anything that you're going to want to do with this thing. Like I've said in many other videos before, I think it makes sense for a lot of brands to go to a really simple 1x drivetrain. It's simple for beginner users, it's less maintenance for guys and girls who do their own work, it's less parts, it weighs less, it doesn't cost as much, it just makes sense. So take a note from Raleigh other brands. If you do watch my videos, start speccing your bikes with 1x drivetrains. It just makes sense. Brakes on the Redux 2 are supplied by a brand that I've actually never heard of before, which is ProMax. They're the ProMax 2 hydraulic disc brakes. I've never heard of them, but I can tell you right now that they do have a nice brake feel. Now on to my absolute favorite part of this entire bike, the fact that they're using 650B wheels. The hubs used on the Redux 2 are supplied by Joytech. They're quick release front and rear, and they're 32 hole. They are built up to a Weinmann U28 rims, which, as the U28 kind of suggests, they are 28 millimeters wide, which when the Schwalbe Big Bend tires are mounted onto, seem to give you plenty of volume, lots of width, which is perfect for all the reckless riding that you should really be doing with this style commuter bike. So handlebars, stem, seat post are all supplied by Raleigh. You get a Silly Royale, I don't know if I said that right, saddle on top of that Raleigh seat post, but that's what finishes it off. And that is the 2016 Raleigh Redux 2. An all-alloy, 650B, fat-tired, reckless commuter bike that I think that anybody who's into doing something somewhat rad needs in their bike lineup, if you can afford it. If you want to know more about it, check out the Ideal Bikes website, listed and linked in the description below. Also, I am going to list and link the description. I'm going to list and link the link to the Raleigh website below, so that you can see it in both areas. So thanks a lot for watching this episode of Shop Stop-In, which is supposed to air every Tuesday, but you know, I'm a student and I've got these commitments to other things that I paid a lot of money for. So expect them to be out on Tuesdays. They're not always out on Tuesdays. So for the Shop Stop-In show, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday, probably.